Hi everyone, it's Jamie and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well today. Today we are doing a speed build with the brand new Sims 4 pack Werewolves. Of course I use a lot of other packs in this too. I do apologize for anyone who is looking for just a solely specific build. Hopefully I'll try to get one of those up later. But this was me just kind of playing around with the pack, seeing what packs look well with it visually, and trying to create a kind of rundown like factory. As you see here, at first I wanted to do with my idea this kind of like this regular factory shape. Off to the side I kind of have like this like almost like gate room or something you could call it. My idea is like maybe when this factory was very big and prominent back in like maybe like the 1800s. Maybe like this was like where like someone would sit to like let the carriages in and out or something, or like the workers. But yeah, my idea is I want to go for a very old kind of 19th century factory kind of feel. The kind of new windows and doors we got with this pack remind me a lot of kind of like a, what would you call it? It's colonial revival, which much like Gothic revival is like this mixture of many different older architectural styles. As you see here, originally my idea was to do kind of like a lopsided like third story, but I end up not doing that later on. My idea overall for this is, once again, just very older, very 19th century. Because, you know, in the history of the town, they talk about how this was a very popular kind of, not mining, factory, kind of mill town. So I was thinking a lot about places around me that kind of have that. Up in New Hampshire, which is not where I live, but I do live near New Hampshire, is a town called Dover, and they have a lot of old mill buildings, which of course have been converted now. So that was kind of my idea. I was thinking a lot about the architecture there, as well as I was thinking just a lot about, I also used to live in a before I moved, I lived in kind of like an old industrialized town and had a lot of its old mill buildings still up. Some of them had been converted to like apartments and nicer restaurants. Some were definitely like had been abandoned and were just kind of left there to rot. So I was kind of, you know, just using that experience and also of course looking at images, as I always do. And my idea for this is I wanted just very kind of gross. But if you saw the title, you know we are building Heisenberg's factory. If you've played Resident Evil 8, you know who Heisenberg is. Heisenberg is one of the antagonists in Resident Evil 8. I think he's considered like the secondary antagonist, with Mother Miranda being considered like the main antagonist, and then Lady Dimitrescu being like the third antagonist in like level wise, even though there are two other ones. Of course, I could not build his factory for like real. If you've played Resident Evil 8, you know that factory is so big, so expansive. This world doesn't have a big enough lot for it, as well as like I don't think it would be really possible to build something as, or at least I don't think I have the ability to build something as intense as that. So this is a very loose kind of Heisenberg's factory. I maybe about a year ago made a Heisenberg sim. I have since also made him a werewolf. I know he's not a werewolf in Resident Evil 8. However, he hangs out with the werewolf or the lichens. And I do have some theories about that. I'm not saying Heisenberg is gay, but it is June, so I think me speculating should be accepted. But yeah, I was like, he likes to hang out with half-naked men, so I thought he was himself a werewolf, and then when I found out he wasn't, I was like, okay, so that's suspicious. But you know, draw your own conclusions. I don't think there's any wrong conclusions because the game doesn't explicitly tell us. But I decided to make him a werewolf because we don't have um, like telepaths like him in the game, and so I was just kind of building this old factory, and the first floor is kind of like a little bit of like a living area. There's the kitchen, there's the living room, a dining area, a bathroom. And my idea, once again, make it very worn down, very old. You see here, I'm building kind of like this little workout area for him. The second floor is where the actual like factory is. On the second floor is where I have a lot of the I put different like skill building things, and especially ones that feel more industrial in some ways. Like I put the juicing machine from Eco Lifestyle. I put the candle making station as well, and then I also put the robotics station from Discover University, so you could build up your robotics if you live here. And my idea is just making a very kind of older, worn down factory. Just because, why not? As you can see here, the kind of outside, for the most part, is coming together. There's going to be a few changes before the end, especially on this, like what I'm calling like the carriage house or entrance house here. I change it up quite a bit. I also will back here, as you see, I'm starting to put down the fencing for. I built kind of like a little enclosure area. I ended up putting like a chicken coop in there. Not that like I think, a sim who lives here needs to have a chicken coop, but I thought it would be fun, especially given that it's supposed to be kind of this factory that is closed off and maybe a little not, maybe if your sim who lives here doesn't want to engage with the world as much, was my idea. And I put the new fencing all around, and I just found as I was building packs that look very well, or like visually work really well with this pack, of course, are Get to Work, because it has all that kind of industrialized assets, as well as Strangerville works visually very well, and then Eco Lifestyle. Those are like the packs I use a lot, or I would say the packs I use the most, but as you'll also see, I use a lot of packs in this, and I do apologize. I think I was just kind of having fun building, playing around, trying new things. I didn't think I intentionally was using too many packs. I had a lot of fun using the new like floor cracks and scratches. Those are some fun new decals in the game that I just think are super great and super well made. And then, just trying to build a very gross and worn down factory. As you see here, I'm also looking through debug to find like kind of like industrialized things to help like make this place even more kind of, I really wanted it to feel like it wasn't a factory that maybe was long past its golden age and now was kind of rusted and dumped. I know Heisenberg's factory in Resident Evil is a little bit more steampunk than it is like abandoned, but I wanted to also match the world of Millwood Mills. I wanted it to feel very like it belonged here, I didn't just want to build it and go, all right, here we are. What I wanted from it is I want it to be very playable, and like I said, that's why I have all those skill building things. And like I played a lot around in the debug menu to get a lot of like kind of the new collectibles to kind of build up the area. My idea is, whoever lives here has probably maybe lived in this factory a while, or it belonged to their family. In my own save file that, one day I'll release, I do have my Heisenberg Sims living here, and just like in Resident Evil 8, kind of referencing that his family has owned and lived or like has run the factory for many years, and he's like the most recent kind of like baron or lord of the area. But once again, really just playing into that kind of, it's very broken down, a little dystopic. I also did make it a haunted house lot on the gallery. Of course, you don't have to play it that way. I just like trying to fit in haunted houses whenever I can in different worlds. I think it just kind of I like adding that, making the gameplay, not, being able to make it compatible for different packs and worlds, especially when they come in stuff like stuff packs. Sadly, stuff packs don't come with worlds. So, we have to find places to put our haunted house lots and whatnot. As you're seeing here, I'm building this I was trying to figure out what to do for like this metal room here. I end up using windows from Moschino stuff because the base game ones we have, and then the ones from the new pack, I just don't think really worked as well. I do wish the Moschino windows came in like maybe a rusted color or something, because like Moschino stuff is like very modern and very like clean. The windows are very like nice and not as grody as I would like. One pack I did use a little bit here that I wish I'd found a way to use a little bit more and a little bit better was the industrial loft kit, because I ended up using like the what's it called, the coffee table and the bed and like a few other things. I wish I had found a way to use them because we have those beautiful glass doors that come from it that are very factory-esque. I think that would have looked very nice in this pack or in this build, but I think this build was just like a little too nasty to justify something kind of like as pretty as that door. So that's why I ended up not using it. Though, maybe if I do another build in this world and end up using that pack, I'll maybe try to use it then. Like I said, for this, I really just wanted dilapidated trash. I didn't want, I wanted this to be like one of the nastier builds in this world. Especially where, even though James Turner did a great job in all of the builds, because who I am, I'll probably end up bulldozing most of them and building my own. And I kind of think my idea for it is still to go very industrial, but have this probably be like the livable lot that is in the worst condition. Up here also on the third floor where the bedroom is, there's also like a little TV kind of like relaxing area. Once again, my idea is like if your sim lives here, you're probably going to build a bunch of robots, like cleaning robots and gardening robots and like servos who can go do like the actual work for you. So I was trying to build some areas where you could like relax or hang out or do like maybe other skill building while like your robots do most of the work. I just think that's kind of a fun idea. And then I end up having to change one of the wallpapers in that metal room just so that the door makes a little bit more sense. But for the most part, it is like 3 walls of metal. Here I'm putting these chimneys from Strangerville because they just kind of remind me of like smokestacks. And I know we have the debug smokestacks. I just don't think they actually are functional. And like they still could have been nice to put around, but I wanted, if you like the fireplace, I really wanted a lot of smoke out and about, and just really making this place look as industrial as I can. So if you have eco lifestyle, I'm assuming this will also not for very long be like a neutral lot. It might definitely head towards industrial, especially once you start burning things, and especially if they ever end up fixing or updating the windows and the wallpapers, because the wallpapers and the windows in this pack, everything except I think maybe 1 or 2 items doesn't have an industrial footprint at all. And this is something that they've also have yet to update for the last few packs that we've gotten. So that's something, which in an update they can just throw it in. It's not the end of the world. But it's one of those things where I think they need to, it would have been nice to have it on launch, especially if you're like using this in a green world, and then if all of a sudden, and like a world that you want it to be green, and the next thing you know, you have an industrial world because you used all these things that they finally updated. But we'll have to see if they ever update it, and if they do, it doesn't necessarily mean these will be industrial footprint, because they are kind of worn down. So maybe the idea is like they're not as gross anymore, but who knows? That's one of my few complaints about this pack. I do have a few nitpicky and a few like criticisms, but overall I actually really like the new werewolf pack. As anyone who's been watching this channel for a while probably knows, I do have a very strict, or I definitely have a very tough idea of what I wanted werewolves to look like, and they don't look like how I wanted them to look, but I am still quite happy with them. I think the design the Sims team went with is quite. It's good because it's quite versatile in the sense that you can really make your very scary or cutesy werewolf. You can make them look like furries if you want. It's quite open ended in that way. Um, so like the design of them isn't really my complaint. It's usually just like a few little like gameplay things or a few little things here and there that I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. Um, and of course, one of my little nitpicky things is I wish they had on launch given us the different eco footprints for these items. And once again, I don't know if it's just something they're just planning on doing a future update or because it's a pack that came out after Eco Lifestyle. They like aren't gonna do it, but I don't know. I don't know, Sims team. I think you should update them. And I think for the next pack, you should make sure that those are at launch. Just because it definitely kind of hurts cross-pack compatibility, which this pack does have quite a bit of, so something to consider. Here, I really wish this pack had come with countertops, or if we had, like, in the base game got, like, another one. Just because, like, this one we have here, which is, like, the most industrial one we have, it's quite clean. You definitely can use the country kitchen kit to get a very kind of more worn down kitchen, which I've used in a few other builds of mine when playing around with this pack. But sadly, like in the base game, there really isn't a worn out countertop. You could definitely maybe use the one from City Living, but the one from City Living is just more like gross than like worn down looking, if that makes sense. Here I'm doing the kitchen or the bathroom. Once again, I wish we had a toilet in game that was a little more, I don't know, like not well made. And I don't necessarily want to use like the wooden toilet that you can get out of debug or that you can build with the wood working skill, which is why I just end up using like just a regular base game toilet. It's not ideal, but it's fine. As you see here, I had so much fun with the new and the old kind of decals that we have in the game from vampires, and with the new packs, like those different wall cracks and stuff. So very fun. Oh, and then we also have the ones from Strangerville that work well. Here you see I'm throwing around the stuff from the one of the kits because I just think it looks very nice, and it once again really helps kind of flesh out that old factory feel that I think this build was not missing, but like it definitely would help improve it. And as you're seeing here, I'm just kind of on the second floor here. I'm gonna eventually cut the room in half, so one half is a little bit more like a hangout area with some skill building and some like things, and then the other half is definitely more of the factory. If that's one thing I wish I could, if I were to redo this build, I'd maybe make the first floor of the factory, or done something, maybe built a basement level. It's just something I didn't think about till afterwards, but I am quite happy with this build. I think it's fun to play in. I think it also has just like a lot of character, especially because like the new items have a lot of character, but the mixing and matching with like the older items too really help make it something. This room here I end up turning into like a little nursery, once again referencing the idea that like in Resident Evil 8, Ethan, the main character, is looking through this village to find his missing daughter. Of course, if you've played it, you know that the bassinet doesn't make a lot of sense for the state that his daughter's in, but that's not something we can do in The Sims 4, so it's fine. But yeah, I just had a lot of fun with trying to do little hints to the game. I did a Lady Demetresque build, like Castle Demetresque, not too long ago. Sadly, I don't think I ever filmed it, so maybe I'll do like a tour of it instead. But that one's definitely a little bit more accurate to what you see in the game, and a little bit more closer to what we see from like the real life inspirations. So I apologize there. But here, once again, like I just had so much fun playing with the new items, and like what's nice too is some of these items are very similar to some things we have in the game already, but they're just so like worn down. I think it's really interesting that they decided to go for this more kind of post-industrial, kind of worn out vibe for werewolves. It's not something I would have picked, but it oddly works super well. So I'm very happy with that. I think that's a super creative decision on the Sims team. Here you see I have like a little painting nook that I created. And then here we're creating kind of like beginning of the factory. Like I said, we don't have too many like factory things, I guess, in game. So you kind of just have to use what we can. Like I said, I put like the woodworking table, the juicer, the robotics machine. I really just go ahead and go all out. Here you can also see I put like doors through there. Once again, just trying to like reference the fact that this is probably at one point a very prosperous factory. As you see here, like all the doors are broken except for one. Once again, just referencing, yeah, this used to be like a really great, maybe large factory, but it's not in its heyday anymore. And that's kind of like the feeling I also get from like Heisenberg's factory when you play Resident Evil 8, even though there's a lot going on and there's a lot of business. You definitely get the feeling though that like it's a little worn down and that's kind of on its way out. And you know, if we ever get things like forging, you know, like forgery, like making swords or whatever, like in like a forging setting, maybe I'll add it to this build. I definitely was trying to leave room for when we get other packs and other kind of skills that I think could fit well with this. Sadly, this pack didn't come with any new skills. Like even like the lore in the pack, rather than being vampires tied to like a book and a skill, it's kind of you just figure it out through different gameplay mechanics, which I do like. I think it makes sense for werewolves and like the lore around werewolves. Like vampires definitely seem a little bit more proper in their history, while werewolves seem a little more not, I don't want to say secretive, but like just not as together. And like it's definitely in the gameplay. So you know, also, like I said, just really like this pack. I really like this build. Hopefully, you know, if you download this, I do apologize about how many packs I used. But like I said, I hope you like it. I hope you have fun playing in it, especially if you download my Heisenberg sim or if you have your own. Let me know down below if you like this build, if there's any other builds you want me to see do in this world. Let me know, you know, what you like, what you don't like. And let me know if you're enjoying the new Werewolves game pack. I would just, you know, like to know. Very soon here, we're going to also hop into the photo montage. So there's that, as well as make sure to check out some of my other content. I have some other videos, some other of different varying content, from like speed builds to speculation. So feel free to check that out, as well as let me know down below some kind of what you've been building with this pack. I've been loving what I've been seeing on Twitter and what I've been seeing on the gallery. Everyone is super creative, so I'm very excited there. Anyways, I think I'm gonna sign out here. Once again, make sure to leave a comment, like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.
Oh